But what feels better? Winning an important game by 1 or 2 points or blowing a team out?
Man, winning that important game by 1 and 2 points, because after a while, that stuff gets hot. Don't nobody want to watch that. No blowouts. And that's kind of what it was with Texas Elite. That's what it was with St. Louis, too. We would blow people out so much. It was hard to get people to come to our games. Because, like, the first year I played, we was playing at UNT. Mm-hmm. We couldn't fill the stands because everybody knew that Texas was going to blow out whoever they was going to play. And that's exactly what happened. And that's honestly what it was with the WNFC every single time. Like, ever since the league started, Texas Elite has won the championship. So when we lost in 2024 to Mississippi, even though we lost, I feel like that was the best thing that ever happened to the WNFC, because it showed that somebody else could win it if you do it right. But when we talking about the standard as far as women's football and what you put out there on the field and what looks like pro level women's football, you're going to look at Texas Elite, period. And that's with any league that you play for. You're going to look at Texas Elite. We have some of the top dogs all on one team.
St. Louis. Everybody from St. Louis came. Are you from St. Louis?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm born and raised, man. West Side certified.
Hey, I don't know. Some people be from the Midwest area, so I don't know. I don't want to say everybody from St. Louis.
Nah, I'm from the 5200 block of Theodosia.
Oh,
I'm
man,
from the hood.
You got the straight. Okay.
I'm from the hood.
I'm about to say, look how far we came. You know,
no,
now
seriously, look how far we came. Like, where I grew up from, literally right across the park was Wold Center, and that's where Jason Tatum was playing basketball and stuff. That's where a lot of us, like in the inner city, that was kind of our safe space to just kind of be great. And that's when I got into sports and recreation.
St. Louis got a lot of talent, from music to athletes. Like I think St. Louis actually is a great hub of talent.
It is. It's just a lack of resources. And like, unfortunately, it's a crab in the barrel mentality, just because of the fact that most people there have not left their neighborhood. Let's not even talk about the city, but they haven't left their neighborhood. I could go home right now and tell you the people who I've been, like, they've been there since was born, and they're still there. They probably never seen nothing outside of St. Louis. Probably the furthest they've been is like probably Winsfield or something. I
got the same thing in New Jersey. They try to say, well, you know, we got support out here. I'm just like, yeah, but the world's so much more bigger than like our hometown. Like, that's like one thing. That's why I said I don't know whether you ever seen it. I was watching. I forgot what football player was saying it, but he was like, what he realized when he got to the league was his only dream was to make it to the league. He's like, when he got there, people dream there was to be a Super Bowl champion. So he was like, I wasn't dreaming big enough. He was like, I got to my destination and I was just happy there. That kind of like how me when it was with like SEMA, was like, I just wanted to get out of my neighborhood. But when I left my neighborhood, I was like, all right, I'm kind of happy being gone. You know what I'm saying? Where other people are like, no, I want to go to the NFL. I want to be a champion. So it was like, there's so many different levels of growth in certain people, and sometimes it'd be like, you know what, Dan, you should dream as big as possible, not just, you know, just one level.
Yeah, no, that's some real stuff. With dreams, it's just, I don't know. Like, I had to unlearn so much coming from St. Louis and coming to Texas, because they are a lot more, at least with the community that I'm in, it's so peaceful. Like, my guard doesn't have to be up. I have to like take down my guard a lot and just actually be able to trust people. Like, I still watch my surroundings, but I can go to bed. Like, if I leave my garage door open, nobody's breaking into my stuff. Yeah. You know, or like if I accidentally leave my door unlocked, which I don't do, but if I did, like, my stuff is untouched. It's unbothered. My neighbors mind their business. If I do see them, they say hello. Like, it's nothing drama filled or anything like that. And so it just, coming out here was a real eye opener to me of just like how in survival mode I was in. Just in life. They say if you can survive in St. Louis, you can survive anywhere. They were in line, but it's because, like, most people don't have to deal with majority of the stuff we have to deal with in St. Louis. Just in the inner city with like a certain demographic of people, like the crap and the bear mentality. You've never seen anything outside of this. So it was definitely a game changer for me. It changed my personality a lot. It humbled me a lot as well. Because people that I didn't know from a can of paint was supporting me more than like the people back at home. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Yeah. And they helped me pull it out. And so therefore here we are now. Like I said, I did a whole 180. If you knew me back then, then you know I was like kind of unhinged.
Right, I'm about to say.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that was pretty much it. Like I was definitely more unhinged than college. Definitely at SEMO.
It's funny because when I went to SEMO, you know, I know you know Eric and everything like that, but Eric used to always be like, "Yeah, keep your head on my swivel." You don't know. I'm like, bro, we in Cape Girardeau. I'm like,
Yeah, nah.
it's not like you're not in St. Louis no more. But when I went to his neighborhood, I could understand the mentality. You know what I'm saying? Where it came from. It was funny because I used to live in if y'all from Texas, I used to be off of Skillman on Delia when I first moved out here. That was like the cheapest thing I could get.
Yeah.
Everybody be like, "Yo, you in the hood?" I be texting girls, "Oh, I ain't going out there. You in the hood?" I'm like, well, "For real? Like, I'm really in the hood." Like to me, it didn't feel like the hood because even though I grew up in the suburbs, my main family was from Philly, so it was like I'm just used to going to Philly. So when my mom and my dad visited me, they were just. My mom was like, "Oh, you in the hood, right?" I'm like, "Mom, what are you talking about? You from Philly? What you talking?" She like, I just know a hood when I see one kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's just funny to me, like you said, like I never feel in danger out here. Not saying like shit don't go on, like especially in downtown Dallas, people will break into your car, do shit like that. But there's a lot of areas outside of Texas where it's just simple living.
Yeah, it is. Every time I tell people I live in Grapevine, they be like, "Oh, you got money?" No, I think we got lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like we got lucky because I mean we do have a nice apartment and stuff. I have a roommate that's from St. Louis as well. She's in pilot school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like opportunity just presented itself out here for the both of us, and so it's just I don't know. Like, but every time somebody it does come over there, it just kind of reminds us of how blessed we are, just because of like we don't take anything for granted. You know, it's just like, okay, yeah, we got an apartment, but we too busy focused on how we finna get into a house or how we finna make more money, or like, you know, like what are we gonna do with this football stuff? Like at the end of the day, and then. Like they come over, like I said, people come over, they be like, "Oh man, you got a nice neighborhood, you got this, you got that," and I'm like, you know what, we are blessed. I'm gonna take that, and I was like, I receive it, thank you. Been there for like almost 5 years, and honestly, I don't think I'm gonna move from there until I'm like actually ready to buy a house.
Okay.
So
nice.
And even then, I probably will still stay in Grapevine. I just love Grapevine. It's cool.
I like Addison. I like this area as well because, like you said, like. It's family. I see a lot of families. Like when I wasn't skilled on Delia, it was like a bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With no parents around. But now I'm seeing like people with their kids walking them to school. Like people are supervised. So to me, it's just like I feel comfortable out here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's start the show real quick.
Yeah.
It's your boy TravTheRealist, and it's episode number 16 of If You Don't Mind Me Asking. I got me a real special guest, my girl Tammie. She is a 7-time women national champion. Yeah. She is a 2022 gold medalist, and she is the first woman football high school coach in Louisville.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pass over to Tammie in case I miss anything, so she can introduce herself to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Tammy Moore. Like, let's see, 7-time national champion. Well, actually, 6-time national champion. 1-time USA gold medalist, 7-time All-Pro, first team All-Pro. Every time I touch the football field, I've won. I think out of all the years I've played, I've been playing since 2017. I've only lost 4 games.
Wow.
4. And 2 of them was last year.
So was the teams good or was it coaching?
Neither. We was kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, like as a team. So with women's football, like we have shorter seasons. We have 6 regular season games, a weekend tournament, and then a championship. So you have to get to know people really, really fast. And in 2024, unfortunately, without getting into the details, we just wasn't in sync. That's what I would say. We weren't in sync, and we beat ourselves because we lost to the same team. We lost them to the regular season, and then we lost them again in the championship. And it's funny because in 2023, that same team we lost to, we whooped them by 40 in the championship. So it goes to show how much we were kind of just off the rocker. And then like in 2024, we kind of lost a lot of good players because of it, because nobody wanted to be a part of the Texas Elite finally lost type deal. And then 2025, here we are. We had a whole team full of rookies with a couple of veterans, with myself or whatever. I was nominated as captain this year, and we really started from nothing. Like this was like probably the least talented group of women that we had, but we were so surgical with like the schemes and the plays and like what we're going to do and go out there and just do whatever we needed to do. And we actually lost our first game this year to Kansas City. Somebody we be whooping every single time by like 30, 40 points. We straight lost to them by like, I want to say 3 or 4 points. And so everybody wrote us off. They're like, oh yeah, Elite done. You know what I'm saying? And so then after that, we came back and played Seattle, and we whooped them by like, I think it was like 55-0.
Wow.
And then after that, we just kept going and kept going. And then I think our defense in total probably let out maybe 10 points for rest, like the whole season. We put up at least 30, 40 points each game, you know? So, like, we came on a mission. Like, Muggs, I don't know about them, but I was pissed off.
So what position did you play?
I play offensive line. I play guard, left guard, but I can play anything. So this year, our center actually broke her leg at the beginning of the season. So I had to play center.
Okay.
Which was an eye-opener for me because, I mean, I'm used to just being a head buster. Like, I don't care. The minute I say, like, I'm gone, you know? So playing center, I had to, like, kind of tone it down a little bit because I had to be more technical with it. Like, they can... The
have to be aware. You pretty much are like the second quarterback.
Absolutely. But I already knew, like, I already read the box, but I had to read the box for others now. And so that was the game changer for me because, like, I ain't gonna say I be my type of person, but like in my head, as long as I'm doing my job, I can't worry about everybody else. Like if I was to tell you, no, you're not doing this right or you're not doing that right, what type of teammate am I? I'm just more of a, okay, do your best because at the O-line it takes 5. So if we all doing good, we all doing good. If one's doing bad, we all suck right now. So it's just like, we got to do better. We got to do this. But then I had to take that role and responsibility of just like, you know, hey, really pouring into the rest of my O-line and just keeping them confident in what it is while also kind of lacking the confidence for once in myself, which was, I can't believe I'm actually admitting this right now. Like I was very not confident this year. But, I mean, this actually turned out to be one of the best seasons I had, apparently. Like, I was nominated for Trench Player of the Week one year. Ended up getting Trench Player of the Year with the league. And that was actually a shocker for me. And then won the national championship, got all pro as well. This was kind of one of my most successful seasons. And I thought it was my worst. And it's crazy.
Do you feel like you were hard critic on yourself, maybe?
Sometimes, but it's just because I know what I'm capable of, right? So like at guard, guard is just so easy to me. You know, tackle is easier to me, but throughout the years, I've been nominated for that Trench Player of the Year a lot, and I always got overlooked because I mean, like offensive line players, you know, they don't really get no grit or no glory or whatever. It's always the whole unit or nothing. So I always lost to a defensive player, and I ain't gonna lie, it used to piss me off because it'd be like, I'm losing to these people who asses I used to whoop. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like I used to whoop their ass. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, I was always like, well, I'd rather win the championship than get the individual accolade. Mm-hmm. So, but in the back of my head, that was really pissing me off. So this year, I was already kind of like, whatever, I ain't even on it. Oh, and whatnot. And so when they said my name on there, I ain't gonna lie, I start crying because I was just like, Dad. It's finally happening, and I'm like, it feels good to
be
get
recognized.
That.
It feels good to be recognized. So
it felt real good.
So let's go back a little bit to your beginnings. Mm-hmm. So how did you even get introduced to this league? Like, what got you into football?
So to this league, because I played for a different league at first.
Let's start with the first league then. How you first get into it?
So the first league I played for was in the WFA. It's the Women's Football Alliance. It's still around. St. Louis has a team called the St. Louis Slam. And I love them to death to this day. They're my first love. They're the ones that made me love football. One of my former basketball teammates and closest friends, her name is Brooklyn Bassin. What's good, Brooklyn? She reached out to me on the Facebook status. It was just like, hey, come play football. And so I came to the tryouts. Coach Q, he had us do this thing, like say your name and your favorite color or something. And so like when I get nervous, I kind of get a little goofy. Yeah. And I just was like, okay, my name is Tammy Moore. My favorite color is pink. And so if you know Coach Q, he has these glasses. He like sit right on his nose. He was like doing it and he stopped. And he looked back and was like, you're Tammy Moore? And I was looking like, what is that supposed to mean? You know? And so he was like, okay. And just walked away. And so I asked my old basketball coach who was playing, I was like, why did he say that? Like, what's up with that? Am I in trouble already? He was like, nah, I just told you was crazy. And I was like, well, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give him that impression first.
Like, let me cook, because right now I'm nervous. I don't know what you're talking about. She was like, nah, Tammy, I promise you're going to be fine. And so we started learning how to block or whatever. Like, I knew football, but I didn't know, like, offensive line or anything like that. I just knew that I was going to probably be one of them fat people in the front. Yeah. But like maybe on defense or something. And we was learning how to block, and he was teaching us how to do it. One of the players had the pad in front of me. He was just like, whatever you do, just go as hard as you can. I was like, okay. And I pushed that mug back like 25 yards. And like everybody was just standing there like, what the hell? And then Coach Q was looking at me with this weird smile on his face. And I was just like, I am so sorry because I don't know what I did wrong. He's like, oh no, you're fine. You're fine. And so I was like, okay. But then the whole like preseason, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'm going to just be honest. He was like, just go. And I was like, okay, cool. We get to our first game, nervous, like really shitting bricks. The thing that finally got me out of that was like, this girl called me a funky fat bitch on the field. And I was like, well, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle black, like, you got me fucked up. And so I got mad. And so like, on the sideline, my offensive coordinator was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, she called me a fat bitch. I ain't like that. And he was like, what you want to do about it? I was like, I want to get her. And so he was like, okay. So he started calling counter. Every single time. He was calling counter right, knocking her shit out, knocking her shit loose every single time to the point to where she got out the game. That was the first game ever. And got out the game and everybody was like, Tammy, I'm a little scared of you. And I was like, I don't know. Fuck it.
Don't start, no won't be none.
Yeah. I was like, I may not know this football stuff, but you ain't finna just call me on my name, man. Like, that wasn't cool. It's and then that's when my old basketball coach was like, that's the shit I'm talking about, Tammy. Your ass is crazy. And I was like, oh, well, if that's what's crazy is, I guess I am. Because what? You don't call people out their name. That's not nice. And so we won every game that season. No, I lied. We actually lost to the Chicago Force. But we still ended up winning the D2 championship that year. And so that was my first year. It was really fun. 2018 ended up not playing, like the team in itself, because there was some internal issues going on the admin side. We came back in 2019, won the championship again for D2. And we went undefeated that whole season. I mean, I think the most points that the team probably put up on us was like 6. You know, so St. Louis got a lot of great talent coming out of there. And like, all we did was just have fun. You know, like Q made the game so easy to play. Like, I just fell in love with what we had going on. And so then that year, I started getting some league recognition of just like being like the top lineman, not knowing what the hell that meant. I was just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And so 2020 came. COVID happened. So the season ended up like not happening, but we were supposed to go move up to D1. And I was actually the first. So
real quick, how many, so is it like D1, D2, D3? How many tiers is it?
For the WFA, yes. It's like 3 different tiers because they got like 60 plus teams in their league.
Okay.
And so honestly, knowing what I know now about football, it's just kind of excessive because it's a lot of those teams to where like if you were to go and put money and actually into women's football and pay players, 80% of those people would never make a team. 80% of those teams would not exist. 90% of those teams would not exist. I'm going to just be honest. Like, you have the ones that are, you know, they're learning, trying to have fun, and then you have the ones that, like, compete.
Yeah. We call them, no offense, we call them dogs. The real dogs out there,
Yeah. You got the ones that's good, but you got the dogs, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why we were D2 was because we couldn't keep 45 women to play. So it was like a numbers thing for us. Like, we could compete on the D1 level, but we couldn't keep, like, we literally had like a roster maybe 27, you know? So it was kind of hard to go play against a team with a roster of 60. After a while, you get tired. Yeah, 2020 didn't happen. I was just at a point in my life where I was kind of, I ain't gonna say fed up with St. Louis, but I just kind of felt like I hit the ceiling as far as like my personal life. Like, I had my own house, had my own car, you know. I was working for the state, but I just wasn't satisfied. I was actually in grad school at WashU to get my master's in social work. And I was just so bored. And I was just like, you know, if the opportunity ever presented itself, I would drop everything to go pursue a career in football. I literally said that. And so then my roommate at the time, my roommate now, at the time she already moved to Dallas. She moved to Dallas back in 2018. I just happened to reconnect with her and she was just like, hey, you know, Texas is looking for linemen, you know, and I was just cracking jokes, but I was like, oh yeah, tell them to get my number, you know, it's cool, whatever. Well, Odessa Jenkins called me and like set up this whole meeting. It was her and her wife, Elizabeth Jenkins. Elizabeth, we call her Dillo. She is the offensive line coach, but they also own the league. So they created the WNFC because they wanted to put women on a professional level in like the top of the top. So there is no D1, D2, D3 with WNFC. It's just one league, 16 teams. You either make it or you don't. Like, you know. And so they was talking to me and stuff, and I was kind of popping my shit. I was like, yeah, I got two championships, you know, and they was just like, oh, okay. So what's stopping you from coming to Texas to try out? And I was just honest. I was like, you know, probably finances. I really don't see a reason to leave because I'm on the championship team. And I was like, okay, well, can you just entertain us? You know, so they actually helped me book a ticket. They made me feel like a professional. I'm going to be honest with you. They booked the ticket. I came out here, and when I said this was the most organized, and I'm no shade to St. Louis Slam. Like, I feel like we did what the heck we could with what we had. But when I'm talking about everybody had on the same stuff, like it was organized. Like we had to look bids for tryouts. We was actually doing combine stuff. These are some of the biggest women I've ever seen in my life. And I think I'm a large human. They were bigger than me. Like, I'm talking about like 6'3", 6'4" women that's like 350 pounds, 365, and just like, we here.
Stocky with it. Yeah.
Stocky with it. You feel me? And I was like, damn, these some big women. So go out there. I'm nervous. You know what I'm saying? And my homegirl was telling me, like, relax, Tammy, you're going to be fine. Trust me. It was another girl that I played against in the WFA. We whooping her ass on the regular. Came out there, all the women that played for Texas was like, oh, that's that one girl. And I'm hearing the whispers. I'm like, wait, if they amped up about her, oh, I'm gravy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we're good. I'm going to show them something. And so went through the drills and stuff. Like, they started looking at my times and all that stuff. I guess they were impressed, but wasn't nobody saying nothing too much. So I was like, I couldn't read the room for real. But then we had this thing called the gauntlet drill, to where you have all the Texas Elite players like in two lines right here. They have like the pads and the little stuff, and you have to go through that mud. They're going to hit you. They're going to push you around. Don't fall on the ground. And so it's this one clip I could show you later, but Coach O was telling me, like, you know, leverage wins. You know that, right? Leverage wins. And the first two people that was in that gauntlet drill was my friend Jelani and this other girl named Tori. I didn't know who Tori, like, I didn't know nothing about Tori at the time, but she was a beast. But I did know Jelani. Jelani almost made me not want to play football because I saw her tackle somebody, and I was like, oh, fuck that. So I was trying to figure out who I was going to take. But the minute she said, say hit, all of them went out the window. And I just went through that mug, and I was like tossing people left to right because I just like lost it. I don't know what was going on. And then everybody started dapping me up. They started being nice to me finally. And I was like, yeah, you know.
When you get to that level, because I played D1, when you get to the level when you nice, it's crazy how much people start liking you. But at first, they just kind of grilling you out to see, like, where do you fit in the totem pole?
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was. Like, that was being cool or whatever. But then after the tryouts, like, that was being real hospitable, you know. And then I went back home, and I realized how much fun I had. And, like, just, it was different. I felt like the same thing that I put out in the atmosphere of, like, you know, if I was to drop everything, I'd drop everything. Like, that was God telling me, okay, let me see. You know, and so I literally made a decision, and I was in Texas in like 60 days. Basically off of one visit. And I had to have that tough conversation with my team, my coaches and stuff. And what's crazy is they actually blessed me. Like, they threw me a party, like, between my friends and my old teammates. They started giving me gifts and everything. And they was like, you know, we want to see you do great things in Texas. And I was like, damn, now that's real love. So moved out here, went to training camp. My first year, I would say I probably wasn't the best teammate, like, just as far as attitude. Just I didn't really know nobody out here, so outside of Jelani. So that was a thing for me. But I proved what I could prove on the field. I was like, if I don't know anything else, I'm gonna come out here and try to win. So yeah, kind of built that bond through that. Once we made it to the championship, and I realized, like, oh shoot, I could do this with a different team too. Yeah, let's do that. And then we just kind of got cool over time, even more. And yeah, here we are now.
Good. Yeah. So what I know is about women's sports is going to the WNBA. Like, my dad right now, he's an old head when it comes to basketball, but he said he prefers watching the women over the NBA because he said they play it the right way. Technique is really big when it comes to, I feel like, a lot of women's sports where it's like, yeah, when you get to like a men's level, we try to be fancy with it, but sometimes it's not always the right way to do things. I just want to know, with WNBA getting so big right now, what will help take your league to the next level where y'all get more exposure, get more money? Because I feel like y'all do deserve that.
Yeah. So we actually just this year closed out our $1 million seed funding.
Wow, that's
For
nice.
that, yes. And so we now are trying to get to the second seed. You know what I'm saying? It's like 15 mil. But it's a work in progress. For this league to had just started, I want to say in 2019, we have done great strides. Like we have the partnership, like we have a sponsorship with Adidas, Radell, Victory Plus, which is where we stream our games. You can see them for free. And we also have a partnership with Dove right now, to where we're teaching body confidence and sport with young girls and kind of building that pipeline from flag to tackle, with that. But I would say, one, of course, you got to put something out there for people to want to watch, right? Which means that you actually have to know what the hell you're doing. One of the best games that we had, I would say we put out for women's football, was our championship game this year. It was a very close game. The score, we won by 2 points. I don't remember the score per se, but it was very close.
Let me ask you a quick question real quick, because I know how I feel about it. But what feels better, winning an important game by 1 or 2 points or blowing a team out?
Man, winning that important game by 1 and 2 points, because after a while, that stuff gets hot. Don't nobody want to watch that. No blowouts. And that's kind of what it was with Texas Elite. That's what it was with St. Louis, too. We would blow people out so much. It was hard to get people to come to our games. Because, the first year I played, we was playing at UNT. We couldn't fill the stands because everybody knew that Texas was going to blow out whoever they was going to play. And that's exactly what happened. And that's honestly what it was with the WNFC every single time. Ever since the league started, Texas Elite has won the championship. So when we lost in 2024 to Mississippi, even though we lost, I feel like that was the best thing that ever happened to the WNFC, because it showed that somebody else could win it if you do it right. But when we talking about the standard as far as women's football and what you put out there on the field and what looks like pro level women's football, you're going to look at Texas Elite, period. And that's with any league that you play for. You're going to look at Texas Elite. We have some of the top dogs all on one team. So
my other question is this. Would you rather be on the best team who already have a history, or would we rather go to a team that's not the most known, but take it to that level of being the best in the league?
Oh, that's actually a hard one for me, because I don't.
Because for me,
Yeah.
I always like the little dog that comes out on top in the end. Sometimes, like you said, when you win a lot, it gets real boring.
Yeah.
It gets real stagnant. You feel like there's nowhere you can go, and there's already people in place. Like you started off with it, but say if a new person coming on is the history already made. There's already this Tammy Moore girl, all these people who have these spots where it's all right, even though I'm coming to it, a legacy already made. I want to make my own legacy in a way. That's how I kind of feel about with sports. Where it's I take a Giannis with the Bucks. He took that not the best team,
Yeah.
and won a champion 2 years ago. I feel like that championship is worth a lot. Or Dirk Nowitzki back in the day, when he beat LeBron, KG, all of them, where it was just a dude out of nowhere, his ring kind of weighs more than some of these other people's rings. And how I feel. So I don't know. I feel like, what do you think about that? Do you like the fact that you just came into a system that was already kind of top, or would you rather build a young team up from the bottom up?
In a sense, I think I kind of got both. It just so happened that it was with the same team. So, did I come into a legacy already? Absolutely. But let's be honest, outside of the people who play women's football, who knew that legacy? Nobody. As far as spectators and stuff, not too many people knew about Texas Elite until we lost. And so this year, when people counted us out because we have a team full of rookies, it just kind of forced people to start watching, because, like I said, we had the least talented group of Texas Elite women, but we still somehow came out on top. And this ring or this championship meant a lot more to me than all the other ones that we ever had, because it challenged me to step out of my comfort zone. And even honestly, before this season, I felt like I've accomplished everything until I had to go do something else. I guess I would say it would be it's a lot different to come from a team that you don't have much and then you come make something out of it, because people be like, oh yeah, we can beat Texas Elite. They're beatable. Yeah, we're beatable, but what you gonna do about it? You're not gonna do nothing about it, because we're going to keep building up these rookies. They're not rookies no more. We just had 100 girls come try out this past Saturday, just because they want to be a part of it and they feel like they got a chance. So the competition is gonna always be there, but also with the other teams, they're getting better. Every time they play against us, they always get better. So it's until you can actually knock off the dynasty, we're going to keep doing it.
Ric Flair said, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Exactly. You get lonely at the top. It do.
So out of all your accomplishments, what was the biggest one? Was it the gold medal or was it the rings?
I would say it was the gold medal. It's a little mixture of both, but the gold medal was the eye opener for me as far as like what we were doing in women's football. And this is like every woman in women's football right now. Like you're creating history. Because we went over to Vanta, Finland, to play against 8 other countries. So it's like Australia, Germany, Great Britain, Finland, Sweden, Mexico, Canada. I think I'm probably forgetting a couple of them, but it's okay. But like the way Europe supports women's American football is crazy. You talking about the stands were packed. People had their flags. Like it was love. It was mad love. And so for some reason, those women over there, they kind of see us as celebrities because they be like, oh, you got the resources. You got the people who actually know what's going on. Like, can you show me this? Can you show me that? When in actuality, I was coming over there. It's my first time out the country. So it was just crazy how football, like my talent in football had got me somewhere that I've never been before. And then it also opened up my eyes to a whole different culture of people. And so it humbled me a lot just to be over there and then to go say, like, I went to play for Team USA, won a medal, actually started, and say that I've earned that myself. That was just fulfilling. And then, like, my coach, because she was actually one of the coaches on there, she was just like, Tammie, you're a star. Like, I need you to embrace that. And I was just like, yeah, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is cool, but, like, I feel like I don't know what else to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I don't know, man. It was beautiful. It's supposed to be, hopefully it's one in 2026. And I would like to do that one more time before I kind of like put up my cleats. You feel me?
How many more years do you think you got in the tank? Like how many more years do you see yourself playing? I know you still gonna probably be part of the sport in other ways like coaching, but like what about just playing?
Realistically, I got teammates that play in their 40s. And they 50s right now. Like both of my tackles, my left tackle right now is probably 46, 47. One of the best left tackles in the league. I just had a right tackle. She retired. She turned 51 this year. She was actually a part of the inaugural season of the WNBA. Her name is Yumika Webb. I'm telling you, she's like that. And the only reason why she retired is because she just like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't want to do that no more. And I kind of gave myself a cutoff of 35 just because I've dedicated almost 10 years of my life to just like the springtime is all football. So, and it's just other things I want to do in my life. But if some things like family wise, like align, like, you know, eventually I want a family, I want to have kids and all that stuff. And then it allows me to go back and play football. I don't see why not. But as far as like, yeah, I kind of want to stop at 35.
So quick question about the whole family thing. Cause all my football friends really don't want their kids to play, don't want their sons to play football. Mm-hmm. When you play in a sport, would you encourage your kids like to play sports, or would you be like, I don't know, I don't want you doing all that contact, concussions, different things like that?
Oh, you're playing a sport. The thing is, it don't have to be football though. Just because of how I was raised, like my mom was an athlete, so she played softball, she played volleyball, she played basketball, like soccer. She was actually one of the first black woman that would receive a full ride to Harris Stowe for soccer. And she was a teenage mom. So like for me, that's a big deal. And that was like big shoes to fill, even though she don't flex on that at all. But she always made me play a sport. She didn't care what sport it was, but she was like, you have to go play a sport. I'm gonna let you do something and I'm gonna make you do something. So like I wanted to cheer. Okay, you can go cheer. But you're also gonna play basketball. You're like, yeah, you wanna go be in choir? You can be in choir. You're going to play softball, though. You know, and I wasn't mad at that because it just allowed me to be diverse in any and everything. And so instead of just being great at one thing, I was proficient in a lot of different things. And so when I got to college, it allowed me to like, okay, yeah, I know I like sports. I just don't know which sport I like in particular. And then now here you are in football. I'm like, oh, I love football. You know, so this is what I'm going to stick with. But at the same time, like, I still know the business part of stuff. That's why I work for the WNFC now. Like I'm still good with like player personnel, so I can still talk with to players, even though other teams to try to like motivate them and get them right. Or if they have questions about offensive line technique, I don't mind passing that information along because in order for like us to all win and get paid with this, you got to do better As far as what you putting out there on this field right now, you like dog shit. So I need you to like get it together and actually work on your technique and form. So yeah, like they playing the sport. You like you got too much talent coming from you. Like I'm finna bless you, man.
Yeah.
Somebody going D1.
No,
That's
for
just
real.
what it is. Like
You are so multifaceted. You also are a coach right now.
yeah.
Tell me about that coaching journey. How you get into that?
So it was actually playing football. Honestly, this was what it was. It was playing football. I actually ended up connected with this guy who was specific on offensive line technique. His name is Logan Tooley Tillman. He got this thing called LT2FBA out there now. I don't work with him anymore, but I will give him the credit of like me learning and loving and owning offensive line and like what that means as far as pride. And so he had some connections with Lewisville High School here in Lewisville, Texas. Did the interview with them with my education, like my background in education. I came from a family full of educators. So talking to him about that along with the sport and showing him some clips, he was like, oh yeah, no brainer, we're hiring. Went out there, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous because like all of these high school kids was taller than me. Like you talk about the offensive line, who the shortest boy was 6'3". I had a junior that was 6'8". I had a sophomore that was 6'5". They were brothers, Quay and Ziggy. Both of them was over 320 pounds. Like the little brother was probably like 425 at the time. And so they both play at JSU right now. Like they are really talented young men. And they all like just took me in. I guess the minute I said I was from St. Louis or something, or like I was just got in their face, and I'm like, I ain't scared of y'all. They was like, who is this girl? We like her though. She cool. And then, but I started teaching, like talking the terminology and teaching, like saying the stuff with them. And they was just like, okay, here, we here for it. You know? And so that was actually one of the most successful seasons that they had. We ended up losing in the playoffs, like I want to say maybe fourth round to South Lake Carroll. And I feel like if you know Texas high school football, South Lake Carroll is one of those teams that just kind of always is dominant. And so, yeah, that kind of stopped. And then I did another year with the high school. But then after that, I went to the middle school. The third year, I went to the middle school. Huffines. Ended up getting a championship there. By that third year, though, I realized I didn't want to teach. I just wanted to coach. And unfortunately, with Texas, you can't do either or unless you go to a private school. And so that's just kind of not where my priority was. So I kind of was dabbling in jobs, just different jobs, just because, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not real big on structure. I just knew that football was my bread and butter, and I just wanted to play football. So if you mess with my football stuff, I will quit that job in a heartbeat, you know. But I was grateful that it kind of got me into the WNFC. So like now I coach on a different level. It's not just the boys with the Under Armour stuff, but it's with the flag. So we have the WNFC flag. We do the varsity top 100 where we bring 100 girls from across the United States here to Frisco, Texas, and we put them on random teams. We tell you, hey, go out there and compete in this tournament, and we have college coaches come out there, and you get scouted and recruited right there. You get offered on the spot if you like that. And so that's where, like, I'm at right now with the coaching thing, and I love it. Like, just because I'm building that pipeline to where these girls can get opportunities to use their talent into going into the next level. So, like, you probably never wanted to go to college, or you never thought you had an opportunity to go to college in the sport that you played, but here you are now, flag football come around, you can get a scholarship. Okay, go get it. You want to be a dog, go be a dog. And so now they're getting all these endorsements and stuff. It's pretty freaking awesome, I ain't gonna lie.
That's amazing.
NIL deals, all that. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what do you think is more rewarding right now, playing or coaching?
For me, it's definitely coaching. Like, just because, like, with the player stuff, I mean, don't get it twisted. I love playing. Like, it's in me, you know. But being able to honestly say, like, I helped take this young girl or young boy to the next level as far as, like, their ability to play, that it's more rewarding to me just because, like, I didn't have those resources growing up. And if somebody was to have given me an opportunity to go do something else, like resource-wise like that, it would have been a game changer for me. I probably wouldn't have gotten into as much trouble as I did.
What are some misconceptions people have about women football?
One, that we want to play with men. That's the biggest misconception. I don't want to play with men. You know, that's the reason why we play women's football. Like, I tell people all the time, as offensive linemen, it's a lot. I would rather get hit by a 350-pound woman than get hit by a 350-pound man. Like each position takes a different type of skill. Like as a kicker, okay, yeah, sure, you could probably get away with it playing with guys or whatever. But like as an offensive lineman, let's just be real. The testosterone is different. You know what I'm saying? Like the level of play is different. Guys are a lot more physical. We're physical too, but like we don't have that edge, you know? So it's just kind of that gray area, I would say, about it. But at the same time, that's one misconception. And then two, the whole the lingerie thing. Like it's women that play lingerie football that's actually really good. We actually had our quarterback came from the lingerie league, and she's one of the dogs. Like
they be hitting. Like I be watching it.
They do.
When I was watching cable and stuff like that, I would be like, yeah, they fine, but these girls are really hitting each other.
Yeah, with no pads.
With no pad, no protection.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like actually, now that I think about it, we had like 3 people on our team that came from that lingerie league, and I mean straight dogs. Like I have a DN right now. Her name's Whitney Palmer. It was our first year with us. She ended up getting trench player of the year with our team this year. And she loves it, you know. But the whole lingerie, like the minute I tell somebody I play football, they're like, "Oh, you play for lingerie? Do I look like I play lingerie?" Like not even trying to be funny, but like, come on now, let's be for real. No, I do not. And I'm not even trash talking the ones that teach us on it. If you can do that, do that. But like that's another misconception that I just don't necessarily rock with. Like everybody don't play lingerie. Everybody don't want to play with the guys or compete with the guys. Like we have our own lane. You know what I'm saying? And we're just trying to play, I guess what they call the man sport, but I don't think it's a man sport. Football is football. Like football is football. Yeah.
All right. So what I want to kind of round this off with, we was talking about earlier about kind of the shock of moving from St. Louis to Texas. You said pretty much you had to leave your survivor mode mentality. Mm-hmm. How difficult was that, and where did that survival mode even come from?
Well, it was very difficult. Let's start there. Very, very difficult just because of what I grew up in. Like I grew up in the inner city of St. Louis. I was raised in love, but like our surroundings were survival mode. Like you can go on my street, like we had all the older people who bought their homes and stuff. Like my grandma owned her own, you know, but if you was to go to the next street, it was Co-Brilliant and Martin Luther King. I feel like in any state, your Martin Luther King street is kind of like that street, you know? So seeing like a lot of drug dealing, prostitution, all that stuff growing up, thinking it's the norm, having to watch my back. I done got jumped multiple times, robbed, all of that stuff just going to school. You know, just keeping my head on the swivel and just learning that, like, you know, some of the closest people will cross you for the right amount of money, you know. And then coming here to Texas where, like, nobody knew me. Like, they knew me. They knew of me, but they didn't know me. And it's this book called The Power of Who by Bob Beaudine or whatever. And he explains in that book how, like, you should always have your who circle. Yo, the first part of your circle is the people who, like, if you was to start a business or if you was to start anything right now, who would you call? Like, if you had some of your best success or whatever, who would you call? And most of the time, it may not be people that you have known your entire life. You already know those people in your life, but this may not be people you never actually had a conversation with too much. So it may not be your auntie, it may not be your mom or something. It may just be somebody who see what you're doing, believe in what you're doing, and you got going. So my who circle right now is like my coach, OJ and Dillo. They saw my talent and they have invested in me to do these things and be great. And so I would say like they have helped me with those stepping stools of just being where I am now, to where now I'm working with the league. Now I'm working with, you know, like do stuff with Under Armour. Now I'm doing stuff with WNFC Flag. And they just keep pouring into me all because I'm talented in football. And so like I still have those other supports, but then like I also have guys who I probably talked to maybe 3 times off the top of my head. If I was to be like, hey, I got this fundraiser going on, they'll straight pay the whole fundraiser fee. Just because they know what I'm doing, and they be like, oh yeah, you've been doing this for some years, you passionate. You know? So
you saying that is just so crazy because I'm nowhere near doing what you're doing. You know, I'm a hotel manager, you know, I got my podcast thing, but the people who tell me to keep going and support me the most are the people I barely talk to.
Exactly.
Like I just did a podcast. I don't know if we know his name was Aaron. I think he went to school with Amon and them. I did a podcast with him 2 weeks ago, and afterwards he was just like, man, I just want you to keep doing it. It's like, even if you got to do it by yourself. He said, I think you got something special, and it's crazy because I have close friends who don't really even talk to me about my podcast or even bring it up or even watch my podcast.
Yep.
But it'd be the ones where I meet one time and just have a conversation. And they just see pretty much my passion, what I put into what I do. They'd be like, man, you know, you got to keep going. And to me, then I don't think people know like how much that can really push you forward.
Yeah.
So when you saying that whole who circle just kind of gave me a 360 where like some of the people who support me the most are the people I know the least.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. So the best example I could give is we have this fundraiser that we do every year. So if you're watching this podcast, just know I'm coming for you when the fundraiser's next year.
What's the fundraiser called real quick? I'm sorry.
This one is just the hour-a-thon to where like I hit you up in this hour and be like, hey, can you donate? Like, I'm going to give you a heads up. Like, I'm going to text you at this time and be like, hey, can you donate like X amount of money or whatever? I think this year we had to raise like $300 per person or something. So I was just asking people for like $20, you know? And so you got the people who know what's going on. So they'll donate their 20 and all of that stuff. But for some reason, I was like $250 short. So it had to be more than that. I don't know, but I was like $250 short. And so, it was getting close to like the end because we do it for like a week after that. And so like I just start texting people that I barely talked to. One name was Pep Johnson. He used to play in the NFL. And the other one was Paul Reed. He was a coach in St. Louis. I actually met him at the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches Conference or whatever. I just told him like, hey, I'm from St. Louis. I remember you from when my brother was playing at CBC. I think he was coaching at Luther North at the time. And I was just kind of telling him some guys that I knew that played over there. He was like, oh, yeah, I know them. He was like, what's your name again? He was like, cool. We had one conversation after that where he sent me some clips of this one offensive lineman in St. Louis, not in St. Louis, but in Missouri. He was like, tell me how you evaluate him. I sent them back the evaluation because he also worked for 24/7 Sports. So I'm just like, I don't know what he asking me this for, but sure. I guess just to see how serious I was. And so I just took a shot and I sent both of them that message. Carl sent me $250, and I only asked him for $20. Pep sent me $200, and so I ended up being like $400 over my goal. And they was just like, "Hey man, next time don't hesitate to ask. Like, just come on. You know what I'm saying? If you need this fundraiser, just ask." And I was like, I would have never asked them before that, just because I don't talk to them on the regular. And so I was like, well, I love to keep up with you and like tell you all the stuff that I'm doing. They was like, nah, we watching you. You good. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you keep dominating. You keep doing that and you keep paving the way for young girls. And I got your back. And that was love.
And that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is people just want to see you serious. I think I saw like a Chris Rock quote where he was like, if you sit outside your car that's broken down with your hand out, nobody's going to help you. But if they see you actually working on your car, somebody's going to stop and get out. Because they want to see that you actually going to put some work in. You don't want a hand out.
Yeah.
And I had a dude that's like a guest at my hotel where I be talking to him sometimes. I really think he be wanting free stuff. But, you know, I be talking to him sometimes. He like, what you like doing in your free time? I said, I like to do podcast things like that. But I'm like, you know, I'm still trying to get off the ground. He was like, well, you know, if you do it for like a year and, you know, you have like a plan, like let me know so I can give it to my colleagues because we like to like donate into stuff like that. And he didn't have to say that at all. But for me, just hearing another brother to be like, you know what, like if you actually serious about this, there is people out there who will support you.
They will.
And it's amazing. And it's amazing how like a stranger will get you further. Sometimes your best friend, not say your best friend not there for you, but sometimes they just don't know the realm you in.
Exactly.
So that's really dope you said that. But
you should read that book. I think you will benefit a lot from that book.
Say it one more time.
It's The Power of Who.
By who?
Bob Beaudine.
Bob Beaudine. I'm definitely check that out.
I think that's his name. I know his last name Beaudine for sure.
No, I'm looking into it because like I like those type of books where I'm just getting to the age where I tell everybody like a book that changed my life was Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, where it was more so. I think I was so future-based where I just kept thinking about the future, like, hey, I need this to make me happy. I need that to make you happy. And the book pretty much just said, like, why can't you just be happy now? Like, what's the difference between now and the future? Like, happiness comes from within yourself. And if you're not working towards that goal and not being all you can be right now, it don't matter what happens when you get to the future. Exactly. So I think we all come across something where it just be an eye-opener where it's like, damn, like, it's just taking me to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So I'm about to say, you know, you want a family. Do you want a big family, a small family?
At At this point, I am grateful for a family. You feel me? Like, I just wanted, if I can get a boy and a girl, I'd be happy. Honestly, if I could get a girl, I'd be happy.
Most people want. I feel like most girls want a boy though.
I know, that's why I don't want one. That's the thing. Because I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't want one, but I just know, like, if I have a boy, it's gonna be gravy. But with a girl, I would say my mom tried her best. She was a teenage mama. You know what I'm saying? She poured a lot of love into me, but I really feel like that I would be able to, I just want to show a different side of where I feel like my mama wasn't able to mature enough to give to me. You know, with being a teenage mom, we grew up together. So there's a lot of times to where she'll come to me about stuff and she always tell me like, Tammy, you know, I look up to you and all of that stuff. I'm like, mama, you're my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I look up to you. She was like, you've done so many things that I've just never done in life. And like, I live vicariously through you. And it humbles me a lot because like, I think my mom is the shit. Like, people don't know what type of special woman she is. I'm finna start getting emotional because I love her so much. But yeah, I just want a little mini me. That's the thing. I just want a little mini me. And I think with like football and just especially like how I play, and once people see how I play, they kind of get intimidated. They be like, oh shit, this girl, she a little rough around the edges. No, I'm still a woman. You know what I'm saying? I still like to wear makeup and I like to get my hair done and stuff. It's just that I know I'm good. And I'm very competitive in what I do. And I like to knock bitches' ass loose. Like, but that's with football. Outside of that, I'm just a girl. You know what I'm saying?
And people don't know, like, everybody need an outlet for something, you know? So, like, sports, that's what my outlet was football, was to get my aggression out. And it's funny growing up, the reason I really played football was because I always wanted brothers. I had sisters and things like that, but no offense, my sister Ashley, she always be like, you know, I'm your brother. I'm like, no you're not. Like, you my sister. You know, I want my own brotherhood where I think you just want people that you know that are there for you, that you can actually pour into in a way.
Yeah.
Before I end this, besides a fundraiser, how can we support the WNFC? Like what can we as a community to support you guys?
Watch it. Like, that's the first thing. Watch it.
Watch it on where real quick again?
Victory Plus. So
website?
It is a website. It's also a streaming service. Like, you can download it on Roku. You can download it on any app. Free to watch. I think they do a lot of hockey and baseball games and stuff. And so now they do the WNFC. I would say this. Oh, we also have our championship game on ESPN. That was fun to do that this year. Like, that was pretty awesome. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. But I would just say, yeah, your local, 9 times out of 10, your state probably has women's football in there. Go support them. Go watch it. Even if it's not this is ass. Like, at least with the WNFC, you're not going to get that. At least I don't think you are. But watch it, support it. If you know a women's football player, go support them by just saying seeing what's going on. Go to a game. If they suck, let them know. Hey, you trash, bro.
Hey, y'all playing in the spring. I want to see y'all play. Y'all playing in the spring, right?
Yeah. The first game would be March 28th. We actually playing against, I don't know why I just said we playing against somebody. They ain't released the schedule yet. But 9 times out of 10, if I was put money on it, it's either going to be Kansas City, Washington, or Mississippi. And Kansas City, that's who we lost to in the first game last year. Washington is who we played against in the championship. So, like, if we don't play them the first game, we gonna play them eventually. And then Mississippi is kind of like people want to call them rivals, but I feel like in order for you to be a rival, you have to win multiple times. Like, you got lucky one year. I mean, I love them. Like, I mean, the people that play on those teams, amazing people. When it come to team, no, y'all ain't fucking with us. You know you ain't. So go on somewhere. Like, they be popping their shit and I pop mine too. Like, yeah, all right. But until y'all get y'all ass whooped, your whole D-line know what's up. Like, the whole box know what's up.
Talk heavy,
Yeah, talk heavy. So it's just, but we all like that when it comes to women's football. Like, we confident in what we do. The game in itself is growing. And with Texas Elite, we always say the standard gonna be the standard. Texas Elite is the standard of women's football. And if you don't believe it, go watch it. When it comes to uniformity, when it comes to like how we look, uniforms on point, helmets on point, game on point. We got some of the best quarterbacks, the best running backs, some of the best DNs, offensive line. We got the best offensive line on the planet. I would dare somebody to say otherwise. Like, for real. One of our running backs, she also played MMA. Her name is Destiny Yarborough. She's a dog. They say she's like the Jerome Bettis of women's football.
Nice.
Y'all, she be flipping bitches. I love it. Like, I love it. And then it's like, how can you shine bright against a team with a team full of stars? And that's just kind of how we are. Like, we are a team full of stars, but we learn how to do our jobs very well. And then that's what makes us great, because nobody tries to be like the hero of the team or like the one that's like, oh yeah, I'm the all-star. No, all-stars tend to be on shitty teams. Like, you great, but y'all record is 0-6. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that.
All right. Any last words? Any aspiring words to any woman out there who want to get out in that field?
Don't doubt yourself. You know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised is what you can do. And I always say be a dog. And that's a little acronym I have to say. It's a determined athlete with grace. Like, so even if you do go out there not knowing football or not knowing what's going on and you mess up, give yourself some grace. Like, go do it again. You know, instead of tripping off that play and keeping it in your head, oh, I've messed up on that special team kick, or I messed up on that punt or something. Oh, freaking well. Go to the next play and knock this bitch head off her shoulders. You feel me? Like, give yourself enough grace to know that you're going to not do that same mistake twice. You know? And always remember that the game is 80% mental, 20% physical. So if your mental isn't right as a woman, especially because we pay to play in certain ways, you know what I'm saying? You will not do well in this, because we have full-time jobs with playing, and still we treat the playing like a full-time job. So it's like 2 full-time jobs, and then you have people who are families, they have their kids, they have grandkids, you know. So yeah, like, if you feel like this is something you always wanted to try to do, go do it, because it's taking off. It's taking off fast. So yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much, Tammie, for blessing my podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
This was like a pleasure for mine. I was really excited when we got connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
But support women's sports, support the WNFC. If you see it online, watch it, like it, comment, all of that. Yeah. And remember to always love yours. It's your boy, TravTheRealist. Peace.
Peace. Oh, I got one more thing to say. Asia Wilson, come holler at me. I'm gonna show you something about some rings. You feel me? They call me Thanos 2 times.
Yeah, let's get it.
I think she the shit. I really think she like the best troll out there, because people be trying to doubt who she is, and she the shit, dog. Between her and Claressa Shields, I think people always be trying to hate on them. I don't understand.
Speaking on Claressa Shields, for some reason, I don't know, and I'm not trying to make it into colorism, stuff like that, but I always feel like when there's a darker skinned girl, they always get more of the backlash. Like this whole thing with Layla Ali and Claressa Shields. People go with Layla Ali, I think, just because of her name, because she's more of a fairer skin. But at the end of the day, y'all have to give this woman who is making history her props. Like, I don't understand where the hate come from. I don't understand what who she dates have to do with what she does in her arena. To me, it's like, we have to support our black greats. Is she one of our black greats? She is.
Like, first of all, you gotta give credit where it's due. And then honestly, I watched her movie, like her documentary. To me, it kind of makes sense. Just having that background in social work, it makes sense of like where she's at and like mentally and how she feels. And back to what you say, not to say it's color. No, I'm gonna say it's a little bit of colorism. I don't care what nobody say, because for some reason, us as women, we can't be confident in what we do. We can't know that we the shit. Like, I just started telling people, like, nah, I'm the best out here to ever do it. And even with that, I still be kind of timid sometimes, just because I know the first thing people gonna come off with, oh, she cocky. She this, she that. Nah, I've been dominating this mug ever since I started playing. And I know what I'm doing. Like, I know that I'm dominant, and it's okay to be like that. And I feel like that's how it is with my coach. Coach O, she was the best running back out here ever. And nobody knew who she was because they didn't support women's football. But now look at what she did. She's created a whole league just for people to pop their shit and be the best. And she doesn't look for any fame or glory, but like a black woman. A black woman just created a whole entire football league. And it's making millions at this point. I think that's something worth being celebrated. And so with Claressa, I actually DM'd her when she was like challenging whoever to come fight. I tried to say, look, you may whip my ass on the boxing ring, but hey, come play DN.
Yeah.
I give you a few months to go get a trainer or something. Like, come play DN, and like I compete with you on that. She ain't responding to me, but
that's all right. She like, hey, I'm in my own field.
She but she did share our like post when we showed, like, when they saw the movie, and was like, it just gave me a lot of respect for her. You know what I'm saying? As far as like her boxing ability, can't nobody deny that girl. And I mean, like, the whole little beef with her and Layla, like, I can see both sides. You know what I'm saying? As far as like you trying to get clout off my name or whatever. But at the end of the day, you put it out there. She said bet. She put the money out there.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Lately, you shouldn't have entertained it to begin with. If you was a great, like, I wish somebody would call me out right now that just started. Either I'm gonna show you something, or I'm gonna just be like, "That's cute," and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But like, come on now, like, you know, either if you gonna talk, if you gonna be about it, be about it. But if you know you ain't been boxing in a minute,
let it go. Let
it
the girl have her time.
Let her have her time. You feel me? Now, outside of that, I don't know. So
It's all good.
Maybe some behind the scenes stuff we don't know about.
I think they really building up for a fight. I think, you know, guys do it all the time. Like, I think they really just getting the hype out there for if they do, so they can get a bigger bag. That's what I personally believe what happened. But I just hate the tribalism in our community where it's like, oh, it has to be one or the other. Why can't we just celebrate both? Like, why you got to like bring one down to bring up another? I never liked that. Like,
me neither.
Just because I might like one person more than the other, I'm not going to just get nasty with one person and try to dig in their personal life. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Me neither. But, you know, I also say, to play devil's advocate, Claressa can be something on social media sometimes. And I will say I intentionally try to ignore those times because I'm just like, no, Claressa, that wasn't good. Like, you need a PR person. But
you are who you are.
You are you who are. And I think that's what makes her more personable, because can't nobody say that's not genuine or authentic. Like, that's her personality. You got to respect it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. She's been through a lot, and I understand it. So, yeah.
Well, it's all love, and wrap it up here.
Yeah.
It's your boy, TravTheRealist. It's Tammie.
Man, I'm here.
As I said before, you know, remember to love who love you and love yours, man. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. We have similar videos above. For exclusive content, please follow our Patreon, which is patreon.com/BearviewMedia. See you next time. Peace.